Viewers, the centre has intensified its nationwide crackdown on illegal immigration, treating infiltration as a direct national security challenge. Union Home Minister Amit Shah today announced a high-level committee to examine demographic changes caused by illegal immigration. Amit Shah had earlier flagged how the rise in Muslim population and the decline in the Hindu population share cannot be explained by fertility rates alone, alleging that infiltration is a key factor behind this shift. Now surveillance is being ramped up with a special focus on areas within a 50-kilometer radius of vulnerable frontier stretches. What are we talking about? A new panel that has been formed under the leadership of a retired Supreme Court judge, Justice Prabhakar Naulekar, the former Uttar Pradesh Chief Secretary Durga Shankar Mishra, as well as former Delhi Police Commissioner Balaji Srivastava, as well as economist Shamika Ravi would be expert members of the committee. The panel has been given the task to examine demographic changes in the country. This special panel will also be tasked with studying the changes due to illegal immigration and also recommend measures to counter the challenge. This committee has been given a year to submit its report, and the Ministry of Home Affairs may also extend the committee's tenure by up to 6 months. Naturally, there's growing fear amongst many of the illegal immigrants, some of whom also are speaking about how they are running out of options. Take a look at these reactions.
শুরু হয়েছে, এটা আমাদের কোনো সবুত নেই, কোনো কিচ্ছু নেই। এবার তাই আমাদের দেশে আমরা ফিরত যাচ্ছি। ওই বিজেপি সরকার আসার কারণেই তো এই এনআরসিটা শুরু হয়েছে না। এনআরসিটা যখন শুরু হয়েছে তখন তো আর ধরো বেআইনি ভাবে তো একটা দেশে থাকা যায় না।
এই ৬-৭ মাস, ৫-৬ মাস।
৫-৬ মাস। কোথায় বাড়ি আপনাদের বাংলাদেশে?
বাংলাদেশ কুষ্টিয়া জেলা ভেড়ামা থানা।
আচ্ছা, আর এবারে কি ফিরে যাচ্ছেন আপনারা?
জি।
কি কাগজপত্র কিছু দেওয়া হয়েছে?
না, দেওয়া হয়নি। এখানে এনআইডি কার্ডের ফটোকপি আছে।
এটা তো আপনার বাংলাদেশের আইডি?
জি।
আচ্ছা, বাংলাদেশ আপনার বাড়ি কোথায়?
খুলনা জেলা।
খুলনা জেলাতে। ক বছর আছেন এখানে বললেন?
ওই ৮-১০ বছর।
তো যখন এসেছিলেন ৮-১০ বছর আগে, তখন কি কোনো কাগজপত্র ভিসা পাসপোর্ট নিয়ে কিছু এসেছিলেন?
না 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 না, যখন এমনি এসেছিলাম, গরিব মানুষ পেটের জেলায় চলে এসেছিলাম।
Now remember, illegal infiltration has been a major challenge across the country, especially with the porous nature of borders in states such as West Bengal and even Bihar. In his Independence Day speech last year, Prime Minister Modi called infiltration a well-thought-out conspiracy to change the country's demography. The Supreme Court has also on many occasions also raised this issue. In May 2025, we've seen what the Supreme Court has said, that India is not a dharamshala. In December 2025, can't roll out the red carpet for Rohingyas. They've also stated in May 2025, can't entertain foreign nationals. In December 2025, have said they have no obligation to keep intruders. So also, of course, the courts have said that it's India to host refugees from all over the world. They enter via tunnel and start claiming rights. Now, these are some of the very strong observations that have come in as far as the Apex Court is concerned on the issue of others or people from other nationalities coming into India. Now, the Bengal government on its part is also now stepping in and has issued directives to ensure that illegal immigrants are detected, detained and deported.
ये एग्जिस्टिंग फॉरेनर्स एक्ट है, कोई नया कानून नहीं है और ये लोग चला जाना चाहिए और उनका बांग्लादेशी जो नागरिक है उनका लेने का जिम्मेदार तो है। ये सब बांग्लादेशी है, इसको ले लेना चाहिए, लेकिन ये लोग को पुलिस को हम लोग बता दिया जेल में भेजने का जरूरत नहीं है। देश के रुपया में खाना खाएगा, कपड़ा देगा, मेडिसिन देगा, एक दामाद है ये लोग। जल्दी जल्दी भागो, नहीं तो जो करना है सरकार करेगा।
Well, one cannot also ignore the challenge of the rising crime rates, especially amongst the immigrant community. Here's why border fencing is needed. Take a look at these numbers. As per the National Crime Records Bureau data of 2024, over 1,200 violations of the Passport Act were reported amongst Bangladeshi immigrants. In contrast, Pakistani immigrants who are behind 15 such violations, and one case of such a violation has been reported by a Nepali national. When it comes to violations of the Foreigner Act, there were 1,600 offences registered by Bangladeshi immigrants as compared to 15 offences by Pakistan nationals and 8 offences by Nepali nationals. This is exactly why it's imperative for the border to be fenced, and that's why the Bengal government has opened up detention centres to combat the issue of illegal infiltration.
Right now, I'm present in front of a building located at Lalgola area in Murshidabad, where holding center has been built by the district administration, and this is the first district. Murshidabad is the first district to open the holding center for especially Bangladeshis and Rohingyas. We can see the on the third floor there is a holding center has been opened up by the district administration of this three-story building. Right now, total 19 Bangladeshi people, Bangladeshi nationals are kept over here. भैया ये जो बिल्डिंग दिख रहा है इसका थर्ड फ्लोर क्या बांग्लादेशी को रखा जा रहा है?
जी सर, हम तो देख तो रहे हैं, डेली गाड़ी आ रही है, पुलिस की गाड़ी आ रही है, पुलिस की गाड़ी लेके आ रही है, 2-4 लोगों के यहाँ लेके आ रही है, लेके चल रही पुलिस। तो हम लोग तो लोकल है, हम लोग इसे देख रहे हैं।
तो कब से ये पुलिस का आना जाना यहाँ शुरू हुआ है?
तो 4 दिन हुआ सर, 4 दिन हुआ है।
आपने देखा कुछ बांग्लादेशी लोगों को लेकर आ रहा है पुलिस?
सर वो तो पुलिस तो लेके आ रहे सर, गाड़ी आ रही है, गाड़ी ढुक रही है, ढुक के फिर लेके जा रही है पुलिस।
But viewers, fencing India's porous borders is certainly a massive challenge. Let me give you the numbers in detail that we're talking about. When it talks about the total length of the border, this is the number that we are looking at. It is over 2,217 kilometers. This is the total length of the border that we are talking about. Now, already fenced is just about 1,648 kilometers. So this is the amount that has been already fenced. Let's in fact put that down to make it easier for you to understand. And this, of course, is a significant chunk of the border that has already been fenced. But there are challenges. The remaining stretch is also huge. The remaining is 569 kilometers, which is also a huge number which needs to be fenced at this point of time. What really is the challenge? In fact, feasible to fence out of this 569, we are told, is just 457 kilometers. So 457 kilometers, which is feasible. Now, what about the rest of the border? And what really are we talking about in terms of this being something that can be practically done? Listen in to what Home Minister Amit Shah has to say.
कि सिर्फ सीमाओं की सुरक्षा कर हम देश की सुरक्षा सुनिश्चित नहीं कर सकते। 50 किलोमीटर की बॉर्डर तक के सभी गांवों में जनसांख्यिकी का परिवर्तन हो रहा है, कृत्रिम परिवर्तन हो रहा है, तो उसके प्रति सजग रहकर राज्य सरकार को आगाह करें।
So what really are we talking about in terms of the infiltration rates, and why is it that the central government is saying that this has become a major cause of concern when it comes to the changing demography in border states? Now, we're primarily talking about two states over here. There is the state of West Bengal, and of course, I'm just writing Bengal in brief. Then there is, of course, the state of Assam. Now, what really is the population that we're talking about in both the states? We're talking about the share of minority Muslims in West Bengal in the year 1951 and, of course, in the 2011 census. Similarly, what are the numbers for Assam we'll be looking at? In 1951, it was 19.46%. Now, this is as per the official census data. In 2011, it is 27.01%. And therefore, a huge change in terms of demography, about over 8% that they're looking at in terms of the change in the state of West Bengal. In the state of Assam, it was similarly in 1951, we're talking about 24.68%. And of course, in 2011, it is 34.22%. This is where the entire argument comes in of demographic change. Is it merely the porous border, fertility rates, whatever be the cause? Certainly, this is a reason for the change that the central government says is really underlining the need for the border to be fenced and monitored in an event more closely. Opposition, however, on its part, accusing the central government of just doing too little, too late. Listen in.
BSF সীমান্তেই কোনো অবৈধ অনুপ্রবেশকারীকে ধরে ফেলে তা তাকে আটকে রেখে কি হবে? সে ঢুকতে দেবে না। ঢুকতে দিয়ে ডিটেনশন ক্যাম্পের কি মানে আছে? এই যে ডবল ইঞ্জিন তথাকথিত ত্রিপুরা, সেখানে আগরতলা স্টেশন থেকে কিছু কাল আগে রোহিঙ্গা অবৈধ বাংলাদেশি এসব ধরা পড়েছিল। তো কি করছিলেন তখন?
स्टेट है, करिए ना। कौन कह रहा है? क्या कर रहे थे 12 साल से? अब देश की सुरक्षा का जिम्मा स्टेट के हाथ में नहीं होता, देश की सुरक्षा का जिम्मा राष्ट्र केंद्र की सरकार के पास है। 12 साल से आप क्या कर रहे हो?
They have named it something else, but they're actually detention centers, what we have seen, the horrible state of that in Assam and all of that. So this has to be done in a certain manner following the legal procedure, which we see is not being, which probably is not being followed, because the haste with which this has been announced, it just shows that, you know, that very Hindutva kind of a agenda.
And for more on this, let's quickly go across to our panelists joining us. We have with us Sanju Verma, national spokesperson of BJP. Shubhankar Bhattacharya is with us. He's a political analyst. Let me come across to you first. Shubhankar Bhattacharya, now the facts are out there. The government says that census data itself shows there's demographic change. And the very fact that there are these detention centers which have been put up, there is a Foreigners Act with which action could be taken. Many Bangladeshi nationals, at least a dozen and a half or so, have already been detained, says the West Bengal government. And this is because the TMC government was not serious about doing so. How do you look at this, Shubhankar?
Madhav, even before the shows I used to attend, even before the elections, I used to come to your show and all the shows, and I used to, deny the fact that Mamata Banerjee never stood against, your deportation of Bangladeshis, number one. Number two, now that was a fake narrative. I will not discuss it more. Number two, now let us come to the facts. You gave us one fact on that since May 2025, Supreme Court has, they have given their comment on the Bangladeshis, the Rohingyas and all. Let me remind you, on the same month, 9th May 2025, one other incident also happened in the country, and that was 40 Rohingyas, all set from the state of Delhi. They were picked up from there, and for deportation, the arrangement was made. They were taken by a flight to Andaman and Nicobar, and from there they were, sent towards the Bangladesh on a naval boat, and they were made to jump in the water, just having their life jackets. There was no arrangement with Bangladesh. And this particular matter went to the United Nations, and it was highly criticized. And India had to, had to lower their eyes there. Now that is one thing. The problem is not with the deportation. The problem is not with the deletion. The problem is not with the detection. The problem is, do you have a policy or not?
Okay. Sanju Verma, do you have a policy or not? Because this is what the opposition is saying. I got your point, Shubhankar. Because they are saying that within 12 years, if the central government, which is responsible for guarding the borders of the country, was not able to secure it, then that is, reflective of the inaction or the lack of appropriate action by the center. Your response to that, Sanju Verma?
Madhav, first and foremost, thank you for putting those numbers out. As you rightly showed, out of 2,217 kilometers, which West Bengal shares with Bangladesh, only 1,648 kilometers are fenced. The rest, that is 569 kilometers, has not been fenced thanks to the incompetence and the unwillingness to cooperate with the central government. Whose unwillingness are we talking about? We are talking about the erstwhile Chief Minister of West Bengal, Mamata Banerjee, who refused to give land to the BSF so that fencing operations could be carried out. The Ministry of Home Affairs under Amit Shah sent her repeated notifications, but being the fascist that she is, she completely ignored it. It's a different matter that she's been crushed, or rather her pride has been crushed by that stupendous victory of Suvendu Adhikari in her own bastion, Bhawanipur. That is not the moot point of the debate. The fact of the matter is that now Amit Shah is absolutely on record saying that fencing the border, equipping the border security forces and the CRPF, CISF, what have you, with the latest technology. This is essential prerequisite to not only maintaining national security, but also in ensuring safety of our communities, be it socio-religious intermingling of communities or other stuff which has come under threat. Let's be very clear that while we continue to have people who can come here, stay here as guests, we certainly are not a dharamshala who will give citizenship to illegal aliens, illegal migrants, illegal Bangladeshis, Rohingyas. ये ऐसा नहीं है कि भाई आप आ गए बांग्लादेश के बॉर्डर से, आप असम में आ गए या बंगाल में आ गए और कहेंगे कि मैं शरणार्थी हूं, और उसके बाद you get an illegal Aadhaar card what have you, with connivance of some bureaucratic
You know,
officials.
I want to put that
Then
question. I want to put that question because
India.
Times Now spoke to several of those individuals. You would have heard those voices also, Shubhankar. And several of those people are saying that we didn't even need borders or documents to cross over the border. The question is, they also got some fake documents made as the allegation of Sanju Verma. And we've seen such reports in the past. The simple question is this. While you say that Mamata Banerjee may have not been opposed, and yes, it's a fact that before she was in power in the state of West Bengal, she has raised these issues even in the parliament. But the point is, actions speak louder than words. What did she do to actually deport these individuals remains the question, because soon after she's voted out of power, if the BJP government in West Bengal is able to round up several of the Bangladeshi nationals there, it does raise questions about how effective and how serious Mamata Banerjee was about deporting foreign nationals.
Right. Madhav, I completely agree with you. Right. Now, let me begin with the facts only. Now I'm not going to be as venomous. I'm not going to point fingers, we can go on abusing each other. That is not going to help us out. Now, let me tell you, I'm going to appreciate the central government's role over here. See, what Sanju Verma did is that Sanju Verma forgot that there are some good things that even TMC and BJP did in combination. And what was it? I tell you. The thing is that out of the 1,647 kilometers of fenced area, in that around 768 kilometers were fenced in last 15 years, which was done by the center only when the land was given to the center by the state. Number one. Out of the 560 some kilometers that is left right now, you have yourself mentioned that most of the area is actually unfensible due to the
No. Most of the area is fensible. Just a small chunk is unfensible. I think you're misquoting the numbers. You want me to read out the numbers? I can. It's 500 odd, total that is left, and about 400 odd where it is feasible. Less than 100 kilometers, which is unfeasible.
The main thing is, I'm just saying that out of the unfenced area, the area that most of the area that is left over there, whatever the figure is, those were the unfensible, and that was actually declared by the central government only, that this is the unfensible area.
No, but they are saying that the state government did not cooperate in handing over the land. Is it that simple, Sanju Verma? It's the responsibility of the central government, he says. Has the central government failed in doing this, or is it the state government? Who is the one that has to take onus for this?
Let me clear that.
No, let her respond to your point. You can come in. You can come in. Sanju Verma.
Thank you. Madhav, I'm appalled and I'm amused on your debate. 5 minutes back, you gave out the figures and you said out of the 569 kilometers, which is not fenced, 467 kilometers is fencible. Only 102 kilometers odd is not fencible. And the TMC spokesperson is saying, oh, large chunk is unfencible. I mean, झूठ बोलने की भी और दोगलेपन की भी हद होती है, भाई साहब. थोड़ी तो शर्म है.
Completely. I couldn't answer it completely.
Madhav, I did not heckle him. Please, Shubhankar. Madhav, I want to make one very interesting point. If you recall last year, forever, the longest mayor of Kolkata and Mamata Banerjee's closest confidant, Firhad Hakim, he made a statement that 20 years back, there were 1.2 crore Muslims in West Bengal. And he said, as of date, there are 3.3 crore Muslims, which means in the last 20 or 25 odd years, there has been a 175% increase of the Muslim population in West Bengal. Now, this entire 175%, common sense tells me, could not have been organic. So that means there is an inorganic element which has led to the stupendous 175% rise of Muslim population in West Bengal. And this has happened because Mamata Banerjee has either been an active participant or a mute spectator, giving a free run to illegal migrants, Ghuspetias and Rohingyas. But I will end by saying one thing.
Yeah.
And this is very important. Please, just 20 seconds. Murshidabad. Today, the Muslim population is 66.88%, Malda 51.27%, Uttar Dinajpur 49.92%, Birbhum 32.06%, South 24 Parganas 35.57%, Nadia and Howrah 26.9%.
But you haven't answered his question. Who's responsible for not securing the borders? He's saying it's the central government. Is he correct in saying so, Sanju Verma?
Central government's responsibility to secure borders is something I am not denying. But whose responsibility is it to give land so that central government can do the needful I want to ask a simple question to Shubhankar. You know, he keeps rattling central government is responsible. But please tell me one thing, Madhav. Assam shares the 262-kilometer border with Bangladesh. Meghalaya shares the 443-kilometer border with Bangladesh. Tripura shares the 856-kilometer border with Bangladesh. And Mizoram shares 180 kilometers.
We'll have to leave it there. Sanju Verma, completely out of time on this discussion. I'd like to thank both you, Sanju Verma as well as Shubhankar Bhattacharya, for joining us. Of course, the central government and the state government, all their eyes are on that particular border between West Bengal and Bangladesh. How quickly can it be secured? What are the issues that need to be looked into? This committee is going to, of course, look into all of this. And how quickly can they submit their report? All of that will, of course, be very interesting to watch out for. Thanks so much for joining us this evening.